So this is false equivalencies. This is what people want to sort of like they want pick and pull red pill out of false equivalencies here. I've read this to you guys before as part of the misconceptions that people have when it comes to hypergamy. But false equivalencies is primarily this is, I drag this out of a few different people, but there used to be a guy who was a commenter on my blog back in the day. His name was Deti, Deti. And I think one of the things that really kind of confounds a lot of guys is the idea that that hypergamy is a straitjacket, first off, but second of all, it's they don't understand the hierarchy of hypergamy, because people want to they would rather it's more comfortable, it's easier, it feels better, tastes better to believe in what's called assortive mating, meaning that an 8 gets with an 8 and a 7 gets with a 7 and a 5 gets with a 5 and a da da da. That's not how it works. That's not how women's attraction cues work. Women want, and why would it? Because that would work. I should say this, that assortive mating, meaning like if the guy's an 8 and the girl's an 8, then they'll more likely get together. Like people who look the same, people who are of the same sexual market value tend to like attract somebody who is at the same sexual market value. This is false. And I'll tell you why it's false, because women who, men and women, but primarily women, who rate themselves as being like less attractive than their husbands tend to be in more stable marriages, tend to be in situations that are really, I mean, you think about it, as far as the relationship is concerned, healthy relationships. There was an article I did, or an essay I did. It was called, a sexual market value ratios. And so I did like a 1-to-1 ratio would be like a 5 for a 5, a 4 for a 4, 6 for 6, right? And it would be across the board. The problem is that that's kind of a false equivalency, because women are never looking for a lateral move. They're looking for a better than deserved move. They're looking for somebody who is in some way a little bit better than they are. And those tend to be the more stable relationships. So when I get the shit from people talking about like, oh, it's really assortive mating. By the way, I've been talking about assortive mating since as far back as like my So Suave days. And I will tell you now, what we discovered back then is that when a man is like, say, one step above, like if the woman's like a 7 and the guy's an 8, even if it's just perceptual, right? Even if the woman says, oh man, he's really good. He's one step, he's a click above me in sexual market value. Even if he could be way high or maybe even a touch under, but if she perceives that he's just a little bit above, those tend to be the more healthy relationships. Also, if the man happens to be taller than the woman, that also, because that's a physical manifestation of, at least in a woman's mind, of a guy being of higher sexual market value, because he's taller. He can protect me. He can provide for me. He's bigger, taller. I want to look up to him. I always say this is like, women can't look up to a man who is her equal. That's why, in a nutshell, that's why egalitarianism doesn't work, because women don't fundamentally want egalitarianism. They want a guy who can take care of his shit. That's how the machine is built. It's not built for assortive mating. It's built for a better than deserved hypergamy. So in this article, I wrote this as well, is I'll see if I can get this for you. Men don't operate like this at all. Okay. So men are so the idea is this. Let's see if I can go down into the summation here. Okay. The other minor difference is that men are polygamous, not hypergamous. A man's imperative is not necessarily to get the best woman. It's to get as many women as possible, with as little investment and commitment as possible. If he can do it, he would love to get as many women as possible and a little below his sexual market value, and have sex with as many of them as possible for as long as possible without committing to or investing in any of them. That's spinning plates. Most men don't do this because they can't, because they're not attractive enough. But that's for a different post. A woman's imperative is to get the best one man she can get for sex and for provisioning. That's the total package, right? That's why you don't see many women dating. Okay, or dating, i.e. having sex with several different men at the same time. Women don't spin plates. They pick the best plate they can take. They can take care of it as best they can. Instead of trying to collect plates, they just change out the plates one for another. That's when you get to monkey branching, okay? When a bigger and better one comes along. That is why the best long-term relationship is one in which the man outranks the woman in SMV, and he should be at least +1 and preferably +2 in sexual market value. This makes both of them the happiest in the long term. And by the way, science bears this out. So when we're looking at the women who have plan Bs, and by that I mean like they have a lover that's sort of waiting in the wings. That guy is never he's not the prospect as much as the one that she's already involved in, but women tend to be the most happiest, satisfied, let's just say, in their relationship with a man who is at least one and possibly two steps above her in sexual market value perceptually. That's the man she can admire. That's the ride or die girl. He is the best I can do. He answers the question, the hypergamous question, hypergamous doubt. Is he the best I can do? Yeah, clearly. He's like, women want to fuck him. Remember what I've always said is women don't want a man to cheat, but they love a man who could cheat. The guy who could cheat is 1 to 2 steps above her in sexual market value. And she thanks her lucky fucking stars every morning that she's with that guy. That's the one that she's going to be faithful to. That's the one she's going to be loyal to. And I think that's one of the big major frustrations. And by the way, I'm sympathetic for women in this instance anyways, is that women struggle to get that guy, because the guy that is like 1 to 2 steps above them in sexual market value, every other bitch wants to get with. And maybe he's rotating them, maybe he's not. Like the guys that, like when Jordan Peterson says, oh, these fiendish, dark triad men just take advantage of these naive women. No, they're sharing that guy. That's what they want to do. Whether it's not like they're going to like openly say, oh yeah, I'm good with that. They're not going to say that, but functionally, practically, that's what they'll do. Let me throw one last thing out here. The other difference is that men are polygamous and not hypergamous. Now, I've heard a lot of people say, well, there's a difference, by the way. I shouldn't say, this was me quoting Daddy in this article here, by the way. It was not what I would have said, at least not now anyways. Men are not necessarily polygamous, but they are promiscuous. Women are also much more promiscuous. Human beings are promiscuous. We want to fuck. We want to fuck. Everybody wants some, right? We want to fuck. The main point here is that the innate sexual preference of men is unlimited access to unlimited sexuality. And Alex from DatePsych, if you don't believe me on this, go to Pornhub and go to the stats page. You don't have to go jerk off, right? Go to the stats page on Pornhub and look at the stats. That's all you have. You don't like that is some concrete quantitative research right there. There's a reason why pornography is sedation. There's a reason why it is endemic. There's a reason why it's free 4K streaming 24 hours a day. There's a reason for that. And no, it's not the freaking elves. It's because that's how the male machine is built. Unlimited access to unlimited sexuality. What facilitates that in the easiest, most convenient form, even though it's vicarious, is pornography. Look no further than online porn, and I can prove to you that men's innate sexual preferences, sexual market, or sexual adaptive strategy is unlimited sex, unlimited sexuality with unlimited variance, right? Variability, right? Unlimited access to unlimited sexuality. End of story. Now, if you want to call that polygamy, okay, because we have to cast everything in terms of like marriage, right? Well, you're not marrying all these girls. It'd be one thing if you were just fucking around and spinning plates. It's another thing if you marry all these girls and you'd be polygamous. Who the fuck is polygamous? Maybe in some Muslim cultures, yes. So it's again, that's the adaptive strategy. That's not the innate preferences that prompt various strategies to achieve it. That might be polygyny. That might be polyamory. That might be open on his end, closed on her end. That might be whatever it is. The practice is set apart from the function. So in a sense, if you want to define dualistic mating strategy as being inspired by women's innate preferences, dualistic mating preferences, yes, that's what I would I think it's pretty much a no-brainer. Women want the whole package. They want a guy who looks like Jason Momoa, makes a shit ton of money, is good with kids, loves his mama and puppy dogs and rainbows and Disneyland too. That guy? Yes. Let's go. Let's get married. Sure. But that again, those guys are few and far between. Still, the fact of the matter is, it only proves a point. Alpha fucks, beta bucks. Can I get them both in the same guy? No. Can I get them both in the same guy at the same time when I need them the most? No. Probably it's improbable. Not saying it's impossible, just saying it's improbable because, again, it takes men longer to mature into their peak potential. So she might be ready to settle down at 29 years old with the guy who's the complete package, and he ain't ready to yet. He hasn't made partner in the law firm. He's not a doctor. Doesn't have his business together. He's still in good shape, but yeah, it takes longer. That's why. It's a high value man is the guy that other men want to be and other women want to fuck. There you go. There's your definition for you right there.